Good evening, folks. Welcome back to a Wednesday night hobby hangout. I hope everybody is well. How is you? How is you all? How is everybody? How you doing? What you been up to? What have you got on the painting table tonight? Who's just chilling? Who's feverishly hobbying away in the background? Let's have a look and see who we've got. Blizzards. First he says, nice to see you in, Blizz. Connor says, nearly got there. Marcus is in as well. Says, hello, my nerdy people. Lord Maiden, hello, mate. How you doing? Dave Mackay is in as well. Peter Cooman, Scott Longworth, James Bray. We got James is working on finishing his second Curse City Hero and some bats tonight. Ortega, hello, mate, in the rerun. Thanks for dropping in. Marcus is working on his custom Vargulfs, so the base to look like something out of Curse City. Nice. He's matching the greenish tint and make a marbled pattern. It's not easy. I tend to find when all else fails, contrast paints. He says painting is especially hard when I cannot stop sneezing. My damn allergies out of control. Yeah, don't be doing anything too intricate, mate. You don't want to be sneezing all over the place. Blizz is saying, I'll give you 3 guesses what I've got on the painting table. The first 2 don't count. Warwick says, I'm not painting, but I have the Crimson Coat and Curse City minis on the build table. Nice one. ASDF, good evening. Doing a bit of Zenithal on a bust. Dave's working on his Armada starter set. Nice one, mate. Which one have you started with? Have you gone with the Basileans first or the Orcs? So I think I'm addicted to making those hobby swaps. The hobby swaps are good, mate. I've never committed to. I should have done the first one, and I never got around to doing it. So I've never committed to one since, because I've always had like my hands full doing other stuff. But at some point, I should definitely get involved in it. Mark's in here, gang, building some orcs while drinking a large glass of red. I'm on a glass of water in a Stella glass. Why not? So yes, I'm not joining you in the alcohol this evening. Christian, good evening to you, mate. How's work going? Hope you're well. Blizzard says, smash that like button. It makes me think of Conor McGregor when I read that, mate. I was just reading about him in the news, potentially talking about buying Man United. Tasty Brain Drain, hello everyone. Jeff Higdon is in as well. Busey, and Chris says evening hobby hooligans. John Estell's got some goblin minces on the table. Busey's wishing for rain. This is so you can get out of a job, mate. Is that what it is? John's got a garden game tomorrow. Busey says if it rains tomorrow, then I can't go to work, which means I can go to Alicante to collect my order of Curse City. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Jeff Hickton says he's just hanging out, not really working on it. Nice one. Red Rose Wargaming, good evening, Anna. I should also say thank you very much, Anna, as well, as you can see on the screen there. Anna's just upped the pledge there as well from the Patreon. Thank you very much. Ed Handley says, time to get this armor gear done. I don't think I know what that is, mate. VJ, good morning, sir. Tiberius says, I love you, Andy, but I have no milk and bread, so I'm off to the co-op for half an hour. If I'd known, mate, I'd have got you some. Busey says, the Uri Geller Spoonbender. The Uri Geller Spoonbender. Why? I've got no idea what that is. Connor is an amusing lunatic. Oh, Conor McGregor. Connor is a nut job, yeah. Formic Miniature says, good evening again. Keep talking and I'll keep painting some more Curse City. Nice one. Glad to keep you motivated, mate. Fast Panda Gaming, good evening, mate. I saw your message there. Good evening. Painting Infinity Shaz Vasti to take on the evil Ariadna. Ariadna's not evil. It's just bad marketing. Christian says, works good, hard, but not difficult. A lot going up and down ladders. Still plenty of exercise in my days. That's good, mate. Keeps you fit. Keeps you busy. A baby Imperial Knight. Now I know what it is, mate. I'm not really into the 40k stuff that heavily, so that's why. John says he's happy with it raining in Spain. That's far enough. Mainly on the plane. This is what you were about to say, wasn't it? So, this evening, painting. I wasn't even sure I was going to paint anything tonight. Because, let me just move my mouse out of the way. Because I've kind of been dashing about. I only got the stream set up about 5 or 6 o'clock, something like that. Because I've literally been grafting away in the garage all day. But I did manage to kind of pull some stuff together. So I thought what I'd do is, what have I got primed, ready to paint? So I've gone with some Drowned Earth miniatures tonight. So I can't. It's been so long since I've even picked these up since I primed them. So I can't even remember what they're called, what faction they're from, anything like that. So I'm not doing Olmec Games any favours at the moment. But if I get them painted, then I can get them to the table. So yes, so we're going to do a little bit of so this is one of the folks in the box who I'm going to paint. We also have this one as well. I might as well show them off. I don't know if I'll get to paint any of the other ones tonight, but this is one of the other ones. We've also got this one, which is really nice. The detail from these stuffs are really nice, man, I must admit. These are metal miniatures as well, for those wondering. We've got this one as well, which I quite like the sculpt on that. I like the pose rather. There's just something about it, like which like that kind of the kind of axe weapon type thing, just hanging there by his side. Looks quite dynamic. And then we've also got this very kind of Shaolin-esque model as well, with the little kind of Velociraptor type mini pterodactyl type thing. Not Velociraptor, pterodactyl. That's what I was thinking of. Kind of sitting on the end of a. Is it a club? I assume some kind of air weapon. And then with the baskets and stuff. So yeah, nice minis. So, but we are going to start with the big fella tonight. So let me crack straight on with that one. Fiji in the brain didn't chill out for sleep until 1:30, and now up at 5:30. Going to get some stuff done, but I think today is going to call for an afternoon nap. I had a night like that. I've been kind of I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's off working during the day or what, but if it's a bit like it might be kind of COVID jab side effect things, but when I had COVID, I was exhausted on an evening. I was in bed early. I was just like physically drained. I didn't feel ill, but I was really tired. I'm just looking for one of my greys while I'm chatting here, by the way. We'll go with an Eshin grey, I think, as a base coat. But yeah, last night I was in bed for like 8:30 or something like that, 9 o'clock. I was shattered. So, but then I woke up at 1:30, absolutely wide awake, brain million miles an hour, thinking about all the stuff I had to do today. And it took me ages to get back to sleep. So if I start flagging a little bit, I think it's a combination of feeling tired anyway and then not getting enough sleep last night. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Lord Maiden saying more Infinity for me to paint. I'm getting on with them now. What you painting, mate? I forget what you're painting now. Are you carrying on with the thing that you were painting on Monday? Is that what it is? Let me just get some thinners here as well. Vijay saying, the cool elephant mini. That's a good one. Yeah, I really like the skull, mate. I think it's some games have certain minis that just if they don't sell a game, they certainly sell the miniatures, I think. And this is definitely one of them. This is one of those minis where you just go, oh yeah, I could get into the game because just for that mini. So I thought we'd get in and put some brush love to him. I'm assuming it's a he. Not really sure how you tell if the elephant's a male or female. Ask politely, I guess. Right, so this is a bit of Eshin grey we're going to start with, and we're just going to kind of paint the elephant's hide, really. And I'm not really pushing to get this finished tonight or anything like that. We're just going to have a bit of a chill and we'll just paint and see how it goes, and have a little bit of a chat with you fine folks. Ghost Winters says, evening, hope your week is going well, mate. Looking forward to tonight's stream. Thank you very much. My week's not too bad, really, to be fair. I've been exceptionally busy, but it's what does it say? The devil makes work for idle hands, as they say. So yeah, it's been keeping me out of trouble, mate. Unfortunately, what it's meaning is because everything's a little bit upside down, I've managed to kind of keep my painting area sorted. But the kind of the studio bit behind me where I do my Monday night live streams from is pretty much cobbled together. Like it's like I've used like a bookcase out of one of my kids' bedrooms to mount my mic on, and I've got like an old wooden desk that used to be like a dressing table type thing to do the streams from. So it's a bit of a mess in the background. Obviously you don't get to see any of that stuff on the stream, so it looks fine when I'm streaming, but in reality it's not the kind of place where I want to be filming sort of any reviews or anything like that. Where are we up to here? Let me just scroll back up a little bit. Scott said, anyone else backed the new Mythic Battles Ragnarok? I haven't, mate. I'm trying to keep off the Kickstarters for a while, mate. Getting my money tied up in stuff I'm not going to see for ages. And I've not played the original Mythic Battles. I've heard nothing but good stuff about it, but I don't really know anything about it, if I'm honest, mate. So no, I've not backed it. I don't think I even knew until somebody mentioned on Monday that it was a Kickstarter. So there you go. The marketing's obviously passed me by. So Fast Panda saying, good lad, Lord Maiden, yes. Peter Cohen said, I started the British infantry for Zulu Wars, a nice one. Scott saying, the miniatures look absolutely stunning, roll on next year. Yeah, let's hope it's things start to ease off a little bit. The thing that worries me with Kickstarters and stuff at the minute is all the extra taxes and stuff and charges that people are getting stung for. Things like extra VAT on stuff, like since the whole Brexit thing happened. There's a lot of hidden charges in Kickstarters now at the minute that are really quite off-putting to me personally. I like to know what I'm spending rather than getting hit with a bill down the line. So yeah, my money's better spent elsewhere at the moment. So yeah, I'm not sure. I've not even seen it advertised or anything, mate. I didn't even know it was on Kickstarter. Ed says, don't get me wrong, Connor's a phenomenal fighter. I remember watching his early fights. You could tell there was something special there. It was like seeing a young GSP. I'll tell you what, as a fighter, the man is an absolute legend. Like, it's like he's just on a different level when it comes to fighting. As kind of somebody who's just, as a showman, like somebody who's managed to sort of turn that sport like into something that like is like just like pretty much mainstream, I would say. Like he's kind of like he's been a big proponent in that, but yeah, he has these he has these other issues as well, doesn't he? But yeah, you can't knock what he's done as a sportsman, that's for sure. And he knows how to make a few quid. I'm not sure he's inherently qualified to run Man United, but then I'm not really sure any of these owners are. But yeah, I know a lot of Irish people tend to be Man United or Liverpool fans, randomly. I'm sure it must be obviously just the Northwest connection type thing, but yeah, I don't think I'd have figured him for buying into a sports club. Vijay, I don't think I have the mental capacity to paint this morning, so our build model is Blitzball Gobbo team. Did you decide, Vijay, which team you were going to paint, mate? Because I remember talking about it on Monday's stream, but I don't think I remember you making a decision, mate. Which one did you end up going for? Tasty Brain Drain says Drowned Earth, nice. Yeah, like I say, I obviously my intention would have been to kind of paint these with a little bit more fanfare and kind of share online and stuff like that, but I literally like sort of about 40 minutes ago decided I was going to try and paint something tonight. Because it was only about half an hour that I actually finished. Half an hour ago, I would say, that I managed to finish getting the stream set up for tonight. It's been a bit of a last minute rush today. So anyway, here we are and we're painting. So that can never be a bad thing, can it? Just trying to guess what things are on these as well. Not because they're not detailed, just because they're so detailed actually that it's I'm not really sure what they are sometimes. Right, we'll get his trunk, not his nose, as I was about to call it there. Let me get around here. Law Manson, yeah, I like the Drowned Earth models. I love the gorilla with the minigun. Yeah, I think I've got that model as well, to be fair. Some of the stuff I've built everything I've got, but I'd Zenithal primed this team. I don't think I've Zenithal primed the other ones. The other ones are just black at the minute, which is why I decided to paint these tonight, really, because I had them primed ready to go. I tend not to like prime stuff like well in advance. I don't tend to build stuff, prime it, and then just leave it. I tend to build it, prime it, and then paint it straight away. But so when it comes to the sort of painting streams, I generally kind of do something on the day ready for the night time, or maybe I do it something a day or two beforehand. So it's not like I've got like a massive pile of primed minis waiting to be painted. I've probably got a pile of minis waiting to be built, because that's the bit I enjoy the least. I tend to find that they stay in better condition if I leave them on the sprues until I'm ready to build them. So yeah, so it was a bit of a last minute decision to paint something tonight. I was just going to kind of hang out and have a ramble, and then I thought, we kind of did that on Monday as well, so let's have a last minute dash and see if we can't just pull something together. James Bray, good evening. Peter saying the one with 2 trunks is the male variant. You need to get pretty close to look though, don't you? You need to get pretty close. VG says, found an awesome new hobby store yesterday, the Combat Company in Sydney. It's an hour away, but an amazing selection of stuff on all game and paint systems, including 20% off GW. Nice one. Tasty Brain Drain says, I think all questions of the elephant should be polite. I would agree. I'm not sure he's the kind who wants to have his gender questioned, to be fair. VG says, we'll be swinging past when I drive to Sydney and have time in the future. So are you about an hour away from Sydney, mate? I've got no sort of context about whereabouts in Australia you are. I just know Australia is a very big place, and Australians tend to have to travel to most places. That's kind of all I really know about Australia. There's just the vast size of it, and everything's pretty much spaced out. Not like in a drugs way, as in it's spaced out, as in there's a lot of open land between places. Yeah, I never figured Australia being just like full of druggies. That's not what I meant. So, right, we just get his hand there. Let's have a look. Lord Maiden saying, yeah, the Yujing sniper from Code 1, nice one. V said, I have a huge range of Malifaux minis, so I think I'll be painting more of them. Nice one, mate. Barry Kleiber, good evening, mate. Nice to see you. I saw you post on Facebook today as well, mate, about being, was it on a podcast or something that you were on? It's awesome to see you kind of sharing your music around and your years and years of experience, and I'm sure you've got plenty of interesting stories that no doubt we can sit and chat about one day when I get over to Chicago. Phonic Miniatures says, how is gaming at the game stores in the UK at the minute? I've just held my first Warcry event in my friendly little gaming store since COVID started. So gaming isn't happening in UK gaming stores at the moment. I think it's only about a week ago, maybe a week and a half, where gaming stores could actually open their doors to the public again, because all non-essential retail was closed and had been closed since December, I think it was. So it might have been early, actually. It might have been earlier than that. So yeah, so gaming stores have only literally just opened their doors so they can start selling things again. They could obviously do like sort of click and collect, and they could do sort of online deliveries and stuff like that. But they physically only opened their doors to customers in the last couple of weeks. However, they're not allowed to play games at the moment. So I think that the next stage for that comes, I think it's like May the 14th, May the 16th, something like that is the next sort of date in our UK roadmap. At that point, in theory, we start to be able to spend time indoors with folks who are not from your household. So technically, at that point, I think you may be able to start gaming again. So yeah, that's kind of how it is at the moment, mate. Vijay says, you're going to hit that grey with a blue to get that cartoony vibe. I'm not really sure, mate. I was just going to kind of highlight it a bit lighter. Maybe even just dry brush it up before I do any of the other stuff. I might just get a lighter grey and light it up. And then maybe go with like have I got a blue wash? I've got Drakenhof Nightshade. I suppose I could kind of thin that down. We'll see. I think I might just go grey and actually pick out some of these kind of like tassels and stuff around the legs and the straps. Maybe make them the focal point colours. Make them stand out. But we'll see how that goes. This is another, because I've literally just decided at the last minute to paint this. This is another one of them minis where I am completely winging it. Busey said, I was hoping to have had the Taxley Bases Kickstarter by now. They did mention around the 15th for the STLs. Yeah, I was hoping to as well, mate. I went in for the like the retailer pledge type thing where I can sell the bases as well. So I was hoping to be able to start doing that. Although to be fair, I've not printed anything in ages, purely just because I've just been tied up doing other things, and because I was waiting for those bases. So even before I started the garage work, I've been kind of hanging on those bases. It's one of the reasons I've not painted any Malifaux stuff for a while. I've been waiting on bases arriving, the bases from that Kickstarter, so I can start printing them. VG says the amount of UK Street Fighter mini game backers that are carpet about having to pay VAT and shipping to the Kickstarter comments is amazing. Yeah, and I have a lot of sympathy with them, because when they backed it, this wasn't an issue. Like none of that stuff was. I mean, I'm not blaming the company either. It's a government thing that's kind of come into place. It's like it's just tax rules. But yeah, like that stuff was always generally included, or it was part of sort of everything else. But I think people are getting hit with VAT on the game, and then getting hit with VAT on the shipping as well. And I know like people in the States and stuff like that will say, well, we pay tax on stuff as well, and we pay tax in the UK as well. This is extra tax, I think, on top. So yeah, it's a bit of a stinker. But like I say, I just like to kind of know in advance. VJ's saying, as an Aussie who pays through the nose for everything, I have to laugh. I say I've got sympathy with them, mate. Like this is a hidden cost that they weren't expecting. It's one thing when you know that cost's coming and you factor it into the price, but it's basically when they backed the Kickstarter, they weren't expecting that. Barry says, what's going on with European soccer football leagues? Hard to piece it together. So, what essentially happened was, let me talk you through it. All of the different European leagues have what's called the Champions League. So everybody that wins their domestic league, like the top tier league, enters into the UEFA Champions League. And every year, the people that play in the Champions League are the people that won their leagues the year previously. So it's a competition where the people have to qualify by winning their sort of domestic leagues. The Super League, the European Super League, is essentially, imagine it a bit like an American sport where you have nobody gets relegated, nobody gets sort of promoted into it. It was going to basically be, I think it was 10 teams who would sign up to a 15-year contract to play in this Super League every year. So there was teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man United, Liverpool, all that kind of stuff, who'd all signed up to play in this European Super League. But it was designed around marketing and making more money, really. So basically what you'd have, like on a Tuesday night, you might have Man United playing Juventus in Sydney, Australia, because we've just been talking about it. And it was purely around just sort of making money. So I think that what they said was you get about £150 million for being in the Premier League. You get about £150 million if you get through to the qualification. I think if you get through like the knockout stages of the Champions League, you get about 150 million. And to be in this European Super League that they were talking about setting up, I think you were guaranteed 350 million a year. So it was purely a financial thing. So from a business point of view, for the owners that own these companies, these teams rather, it was a sensible idea. However, it goes against everything that like fans and players and sport want. And then obviously UEFA and FIFA, who are the governing bodies, said if you play in this breakaway league, you're essentially devaluing our competition. So we're going to impose sanctions, and you might get banned from your players being allowed to play in World Cups and all that kind of stuff. So there's been a massive fallout, and essentially it's all kind of fell by the wayside now because these clubs made a decision based upon finance reasons and not on football reasons. So I know football's a business now, but you kind of haven't got to forget the fans that are there as well. Vijay says, yeah, he's going to paint the Undead and the Skaven teams in parallel. Nice one. Where was that one? Let me go back and find that one. Yeah, Fast Panda Gaming says, what colour for an alien bum bag? Looking at Chaz Vasti Malagnos and had a brain fart installed. It depends what colour the rest of your mini is, mate. I'm not sure. Peter says no painting for him, just paperwork. Scott says I have started to apply a wash to primed miniatures to show the details for painting. It's the reason I do them zenithal primed, mate, to be fair, is because it shows them off. What colour should we do? I think I'm going to go orange randomly. I think we'll start with a wild. I generally don't paint orange, so I think we're gonna really brighten this one up. We'll start with a Wild Rider red, and we'll build up from there. I think. If I can get the lid on my paint to stay up. So. I love how Wild Rider red is generally just orange. It's one of the things with a lot of GW colours. Like there's loads of things that where they say they're green and they're not green, they're blue. It's a bit random. But yeah, I think we'll go with this. We'll really try and get a splash of colour into this one. Do something a little bit different for a change, instead of going with my regular my regular colours that I always do. Kodos, good evening to you, sir. RJC Models Official says, evening all here. Enjoy the stream. Evening all, new here, enjoy the stream. Thank you. That's what happens when you try and do 10 things at once. Good evening, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me know in the chat what games do you play, what models do you paint, what's RJC Models. Tell us about you. Vision, yeah, about an hour south of Sydney. Fast Pandas and Dark Blue. People are having a bit of challenge there. Derek Hodge, good evening, mate. He's tidying up his painting table. I do like a bit of a tidy session now and then. Obviously, as I've continually kept telling people, I'm busy doing this garage studio thing at the moment, and today was a breakthrough moment. Today was the last day of pulling things apart, building work, painting things, running cables, doing electrics, knocking things down. So as of now, this second, everything is now painted. The garage has been emptied. And then tomorrow morning, the carpet fitters come between 9 and 11. The carpet fitters come and fit my carpet. And then I can start to put things back together and start doing the things like putting cameras in and getting my table covered. When I say my table covered, so I made a gaming table, not the one on the channel, the one that used to be in this room for live streams, basically out of Kallax shelves for a base, so I've got storage under my table, and then some IKEA desktops joined together to make a 6x4 tabletop, and then I basically covered it with some felt, and then with some kind of suede over the top of it, basically, so it was a nice surface to play on. And obviously when I had to take the table apart to get it out of my door, I had to take all that covering off the top of the table. So yeah, once all the building work's done, there's no more dust flying about, and everything's starting to go back together from tomorrow afternoon, then I can start to put the cover back on the table and start getting filming again, really. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I do like that kind of having a bit of a tidy. It kind of gives you that mental, kind of a bit of a mental kick. I'm definitely one of those kind of tidy mind, sort of much more productive type person. Let's have a look. Where else are we up to? Peter says, now half those who wanted to join have backed out. I think they've pretty much all backed out now, mate, to be honest. I think they've all, some of them are issuing apologies and stuff today. VJ, having that this afternoon. Stu McMurray, good evening, mate. How are you doing? Mark Corley says, once the gaming mecca is finished, mate, what games are you planning on filming? I've actually got a list, so you can just see above the top of my paintbrush, I've got, if I just show you actually. So you can see here, I've got these two notice boards, and obviously because my camera's got that nice blur on it, so I'm nice and sharp, but the background's blurred, you can't read it. But on there is a list. Let me just get that back in focus. Come on, focus back. Is a list of games. So I can read you some of the ones that's on my list there. If I can read from here. Drowned Earth is on the list. Malifaux is on the list. Wild West Exodus is on the list. What else we got? We've got Kings of War. We've got Dead Zone on there as well. We've got some Warcry. So yeah, many games, mate. I'll be trying to kind of. I'm not sure I'll get to the kind of like a one video every day type thing, because obviously it depends upon who I can get as regular opponents and stuff. I'm hoping that my son can film some stuff with me. He's filmed some games in the past with Walking Dead and stuff. He's not a big fan of hobby side of things, but does enjoy playing the games. I'm hoping Jason, my brother-in-law, I think he did a couple of live streams with me as well. Like on a Monday night live stream, we were just chatting at the weekend. He's talking about coming and doing some as well, and then obviously there'll be folks in Patreon and kind of like local people and things as well, who want to come and pop round for a game. So the idea is with the gaming Mecca is that basically it's just set up just to come in and film and not spend too much time fannying on with camera angles and all that kind of stuff, really. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how it works in practice. Anything else I want? I'm just looking at the colours. Let's do orange strap on his arm there as well. Keep that bright colour going as well. Peter says, if you can sleep through that, you really do need it. I thought VJ. Let me just scroll down a bit. Barry's saying there, but I saw something about the league wanting executives to step down if they tried to make the move. I think what they're trying to do, mate, is they're trying to make an example of them so they don't try and do it again, because they've had a couple of failed attempts recently through sort of pandemic and stuff about trying to have this breakaway league, and it's all driven by financial reasons. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to nip it in the bud so it doesn't happen again. So I think they're trying to make an example of them, basically. I'm sure somewhere in this that there'll be like there'll be some kind of legal ramifications for the teams that have participated, because let's be honest, for all they're saying they've dropped out now, they've all signed multi-million-pound contracts to take part in this league. So I don't think it's I mean, it's not going to happen anymore, but I don't think it's as easy as just saying, oh, we've changed our mind kind of thing. I think we'll probably find there'll be more to it than that. Jill Monroe, good evening. Says, hope all doing well. All the better for having you here, Jill. Ed saying it'll be June before tournaments of any size are possible. Up to then, the maximum will be 6 people, which is less than half my usual X-Wing attendance. I think the difference is, mate, it'll be... I'm not sure how it'll work when you've got... So, like my local store has got socially distanced tables. And I'm not sure how it'll work. Maybe there's not a loophole as such, but maybe there's a different way around it. But yeah, generally, I think June's going to be the point where they'll be able to start kind of doing stuff again. Right. Those. I think we'll go with... He's got that strap around that ammo crate. We've got a little bag on his back there. There's some kind of material that seems to come round to here as well. Try to decide what to do with it. So that strap comes around here as well. So there's this strap here, and this strap here comes into this kind of part on the bottom, and then it comes around under there, and you can just kind of see in there as well. Comes around there. So I'll have to pick, and then obviously there's the kind of back of the material between the legs there as well. I think what we'll do is, I think we'll go with a brown for this strap coming over here. We'll make it like a bit of a leather strap. So we'll come in with a, let's go with a steel, whoops, not on my light there. We'll go with a Steel Legion drab. Peter says, when you paint the trunk, dry brush a light earthy colour at the top end. Elephants' trunks are never completely grey. They throw dust with them and it breaks up the colour. I'm not sure this guy's throwing dust around, but yeah, I know what you mean, mate. Actually, what I should have done was I should have dry brushed it before I did the strap and stuff. Yeah, let's do that, and then we can tidy up the orange before we go on. So let's go with, that might be a bit light. Let's go with a Dawnstone grey, and we'll layer it up a little bit and come up to Administratum grey. My brother-in-law, I had a garden beer with him at the weekend, and he bought one of those Vortex shakers, and I meant to try it on the stream tonight, and I've left it downstairs, so shaking it is tonight. Jill says US sales taxes are much lower than VAT. Yeah, I think, like I said before, I think the issue is less to do with the fact that it's a tax, and it's more to do with the fact that it's an unexpected tax. So when these folks, because the other side of it as well, and I can appreciate this might make a few people annoyed, is the game is quite delayed. So if the game hadn't been delayed, it would have shipped before Brexit charges came into force. But because they've been delayed in getting it out to people are being charged extra payments that they weren't expecting. So I can have some sympathy with folks, to be fair. And I guess the US taxes and stuff really does depend upon which state you're in, don't you? I think is California state taxes particularly high? I think New York tax is quite high, if I remember right. And then there's other states which are a bit lower. So yeah, I did intend to do this dry brushing before I did the orange and completely forgot. Even though I said it out loud and you all heard me, I got all excited and rushed ahead. So most US states are 10%. Yeah, 20% for VAT here in the UK. Where was this one up to? Let me go back a little bit. There we go. David Milano says, greetings, better late than never. Never late, mate. You arrive precisely when you mean to. Jim Zom, good evening, mate. Says that's one cool looking mini. Yeah, it's not a bad mini, is it? It's got loads of bags of character on it. I've been meaning to paint it for ages, and there's always been something else that's kind of pushed it to the back of the queue a little bit. So yeah, it's nice to get it on the table and get some paint on it. Because Drowned Earth is a game that I'm massively looking forward to getting to the table. I've kind of been thinking about terrain and stuff, and obviously with like all of my printable terrain and stuff I've got now as well. But I think if I can use a lot of the Dead Zone terrain and really kind of like junglify it up, you know, get some kind of aquarium plants and stuff, and really make it look a bit more overgrown. Make it look like it's some kind of sort of settlement trying to come back from the apocalypse type thing, which is obviously what the Drowned Earth setting. Not the apocalypse as such, but you know, like a world altering event. So we start to get a bit of lighting on that one. Let me just get that light a little bit, so it's not quite so bright. You start to see a little bit better there now. Right, we'll let that one dry off. Give it a bit of a wash out. Let's have a look and see what else we've got here. VG saying, yeah, the Super Fantasy Kickstarter, they were upfront that shipping wasn't included. The thing is, with the stretch goals that are included, the weight of the package blew out to like 20 kilograms, so it got pricey. So yeah, not really Jasco's fault. No, I can imagine, mate. This is also the problem as well when they don't give shipping prices up front as well. I mean, they give estimated shipping costs and stuff. I mean, I'm not blaming Jasco at all. To be fair, it's all companies do it, but it is a little bit like when you're kind of left at the mercy of sort of changing financial situations. Peter Stockdale, good evening, mate. Says, managed to get a game of 40k today. What did you play, mate? And who did you play against? Like, which factions did you play? Revenant Tabletop Gaming, nice to see you in, mate. How are you doing? Barry says, thank you, sir. I've got some stories to be sure. Good, bad, and ugly, mostly funny stuff. Hopefully, travel opens up again. Stories over a pint. I look forward to that, mate. RJC Model says, plays 40k Space Wolves. Death God says Death Beard, but I assume it's Death God, and Harlequins. And RGC Models is a channel I set up to share my passion for models with everyone, as I love anything miniatures. if folks want to go and check it out, please do check out RJC Models. Nice to see some new folks in the chat, so might as well share some love with them as well. Vigi says, tradesmen are like wizards. They arrive precisely when they mean to, and you'll never know in advance. Interestingly, because I mean, the obviously the estimated time I've been given for the carpet fitters is 9 to 11. I assume to see a 9 o'clock, I must be at the start of their runs for the day. So I'm assuming I must be pretty kind of high on the list of jobs for tomorrow. And because the room is completely empty and it's a garage with a massive big like garage door opening and stuff, and it's pretty much there's not a lot of cuts and things. I imagine they'll be in and out relatively quick. Those guys they are like wizards, to be fair, with how they do their work. So yeah, once that carpet goes down, that's the point where I start to put all the furniture back and stuff, and well, not back, start to put it in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing some pictures tomorrow. I do have one sort of building job, if you like, left to do. I've put a door opening through to the other side of because I've partitioned the garage probably into probably slightly more than 2/3 for my side of things, and like a third at the back, because it's where our heating boiler and our washing machine and tumble dryer and stuff's in there as well. And I've left some space for storage for like garden tools and things. So I've put a doorway through, but I'm fitting a sliding door, like a wall-mounted sliding door, rather than open it up so it takes up space. And I didn't want to hang that until the carpet come, and I knew exactly where the floor level was. So yeah, I do have that to do once those guys are done, but that shouldn't take too long. The door arrived today, so yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing some photos tomorrow. Right, that's a bit better. Then we've got a little bit of texture to that. A few bits more greys and stuff. We might have to put some kind of washes and things into it just to get a bit of definition later, but I'm good with it for now. Oh. We can come back in and tidy up those orange bits now. Where are we up to? Skip ahead a bit. My G, hello, says we had a surprise snowstorm here in Milwaukee. It feels like Christmas time. Wow. Kath Smith, good evening. Fast Panda says get on the Infinity on the board. Do you know what it is? I do have Infinity written down. I don't know if it's just I can't read it from here because my eyesight's not great at distance. Yeah, I do have Infinity on there. I've got Code 1 on the list because my Code 1 stuff's all painted, and I do have some terrain and stuff for Infinity as well. So yeah, I think I'll certainly get that to the table at some point. I do love the minis for Infinity, so even if nothing else, it gives me some fun stuff to paint. But yeah, I'm not exactly short of things, that's for sure, to be getting it. It's getting the players. I think getting the regular players is going to be the tough thing until I get into a bit of a routine with it. And speaking to humans again, I'm not used to it. I've spent the last year just talking to a camera and not really speaking to other people. I think the closest I've got to speaking to other people, as opposed to people that live with me, is probably going for a drive-through coffee. That's about as socially active as I've been in quite some time. Right. Let's start to paint in some of the bullets and stuff as well. I think we're going to go with, I'm going to paint them brown to start with, and I think I'm going to dry brush them with a gold. So we'll start with a, did I get a brown? Oh, we got Steel Legion drab there, didn't we? I'm going to go with a Rhinox hide as a base for the gold and come from there as well. Scott saying I'll have a few games with you. Nice one, fella. Peter says, what, no 40k? It's not really my bag, mate, to be fair. It'd be a massive learning curve for me. The other games I've talked about, I've played them before, so it's like a 40k, I wouldn't even know where to start. Plus, there's so many 40k channels out there doing really good content. Who the hell wants to watch me kind of struggle my way through it? So, yeah, I think, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, I think GW games are just not designed to kind of gel with my style of games, I think. Casper says, homemade loaded nachos, beers and gaming planned for Saturday. Thank you for the invite, Kath. Sounds amazing. Sounds very nice. I'm looking forward to that. Getting games in again. I think it's because we're getting close now. I think for such a long time, I didn't really want to kind of think about it and get excited for stuff and that and get all excited about looking forward to it. But it feels like it's in touching distance now. People like John getting these garden games in and stuff now as well, and folks saying that they're getting sort of they're getting their tables ready for getting gaming in and stuff. It's starting to get a bit like nervous excitement. It's not too late for it all to go belly up, but it's kind of so close we can touch it kind of thing. So yeah, fingers crossed we keep going the way we're going and we can start getting folks together again soon. Get a little bit of brown on the top there as well, just around the top of the bullets here. And then what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll dry brush a gold over the top of that to really make it look a bit, make it pop, make it look nice. Let's scroll down a bit and catch up with some of this chat here as well. Tasty Brain Drain says that's a really nice selection of games on that list and I'm looking forward to those videos. Me too, mate. It was always a kind of like a plan of mine to start to get like sort of gameplay videos as well. It was something I'd kind of toyed with a while ago. And I've done a couple of tests of it and stuff just to kind of see how best to do it. Because there's no right way to do kind of like gameplay videos. Whether you do the kind of like the handheld vid camera or you have the kind of like the pre-set up camera with lots of different angles and stuff like that. Or you have somebody else controlling the camera and walking around the table and stuff. There's no right way to do it. And if you ask people how they prefer it, you'll get 25 different answers. So you have to just kind of do it the way that you want to do it. So the way I plan to do it is to have it with multiple cameras set up. And I haven't decided how I'm going to do it exactly yet, but I've set it up so I can do either. One is to do it almost like a live stream. A little bit if you watch Beasts of War, the way they do it, where essentially they like edit the video as they're recording it. So they switch between the different cameras as part of the gameplay. Now that has the benefit that it saves you a lifetime in editing. However, it does make it quite difficult because you have to remember to, whilst you're also trying to remember to play the game and remember the rules and kind of be entertaining and talk to the camera and all that kind of stuff, you also have to remember to keep switching between cameras and making sure that you've got it, you've got the right shot, if you like. So it saves time, but it takes some getting used to. That's how I did the Armada video that I recorded with my wife. The other way I can do it is just to have all the different cameras all recording to memory cards, and then I can forget about the cameras and just play the game. The difference is you end up with a massive amount of footage that you then have to go back and edit, pull all that footage into the your editing program and edit kind of camera shots and stuff. The plus side is you can concentrate on the game when you're playing. You never miss a shot because all of the different camera angles are all recorded. The downside is it just takes a hell of a long time to edit it. But we'll probably try a few different ways, I think, until I get used to it. Paul saying the Premier League are upset because they would become less relevant. UEFA are upset because they weren't involved. Despite the bluster, none of them are really on the fan side. I agree, mate. I don't think any of them are on the fan side. I think the Premier League probably had less to lose from this because there's no way those teams were going to leave the Premier League. It's too kind of important. I think they felt they were missing out on money by not being involved in it. I think UEFA obviously didn't want to lose those teams from the Champions League as well, because again, those are the big teams. They draw in revenue for UEFA as well. I think it was definitely a case, and I forget. I think I was watching like a live stream of some like football fans yesterday. I was saying I was watching it. I had it on my phone when I was in the garage decorating, and I was like listening to it like a podcast. And essentially what they were saying was, UEFA and like FIFA and Premier League and stuff are not like on our side, but it's definitely a case of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing. And actually it's a case of we need them right now, because they've got a little bit of weight. We might not want them. we might not agree with them generally, but at the moment we've got a common cause that we're fighting against. And that was a pretty accurate representation, I think, of that. Right, we've got this Steel Legion drab here, so I think we're going to want to wash that brush, get a slightly smaller brush for this. Paul says, you ever been having wet dreams about a Super League for decades? Yeah, they're just jealous that they didn't have the idea themselves, to be fair. John Estel says, my understanding is it will be a bubble of 6, but you can't mix with other groups until June. So I could meet 5 others to play, but couldn't do a big tournament. That's not my understanding, mate. I think it's basically you can mix with 6 people from other households. So I don't think it's a bubble. I think that kind of that 6. You can meet with up to 6 people at any given time. I don't think it's like a sort of 6-person bubble. I think it's the start of sort of the restrictions lifting a bit, but I could be completely wrong. I might have misunderstood it. Yeah, June's when we in theory start to see restrictions being lifted a lot more. So that's kind of when I'm aiming. Like, hopefully once I get this gaming room, this studio type thing sorted, I can start to play with people that are in my sort of like my family and stuff. Like my boys can start to come over again. My brother-in-law can play indoors with me, as opposed to kind of playing in the garden. Because in theory I could have started recording games in the garden, but it's so unpredictable, the weather and stuff. Like, who knows what would happen if I started down that path. Plus it's like the noise and stuff. I've got like stables and stuff out the back, and the farmer brings his tractor around, and horses neighing all the way through the games and stuff. I'm sure that's not really what people want to hear. So yeah, so June's really what I'm aiming to be ready for, but I want to get it done as quickly as I can so I can do some kind of some test playthroughs. I might try a solo game just to purely sort of test out the equipment and the sort of like the setup and things. So yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later we should start to see sort of BlackJack Legacy 2.0, the next stage in the evolution. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, and it's all thanks to those folks that donate and live streams, buy my t-shirts, the Patreon, especially the Patreons, to be fair. Because what the Patreon does is it gives me a kind of a, whilst it could stop any day, but like it gives me a bit of a regular income, so I can kind of I know from month to month what I can kind of expect, and I can plan sort of buying new kit and new equipment and stuff based upon knowing that's coming in. So without the Patreons, what I'm doing at the moment would never have happened. So yeah, it's a huge thanks to them. Right. Ed says, I've been chatting to my friend at Little Game Store about it as I TO the X-Wing an Armada event there. Until June, you're capped at 6 indoors, so unless you have a covered outdoor space, you're stuck. I'm trying to remember. I think there was do you know what I'm thinking of? Last time, the gaming store allowed you to play in store as long as you played with somebody who you were in a bubble with, so whether that be a family member or if you were in a bubble with a friend or something like that. I think that was how they got around it, but I think that was how they managed the rules, to be fair. So I believe that's how it worked. I might be getting mixed up with that, but yeah, generally it's going to be June, I think, before we can start to really think about tournaments and stuff and gaming in any major sort of sized event type things. But regardless, exciting times, can't wait. up a little bit here. VG says, was Stored Combat Company had Luke's base ready mixes and the Vallejo stuff in stock. Grab some Bondic on Uncle Adam's. What is Bondic, mate? I don't know what that is. Good evening, Mr. Howell. How are you doing? I'm well behind the chat here. I'm going to have a drink of water. I'm going to catch up on the chat because I'm about 20 minutes behind at the minute. Oh no, I don't think I am. I think there was a. Oh yeah, I am. It's just jumped up there as I was reading. So let me catch up on the chat for a little bit first. Let me just move that there down there. Right, here we go. Let me go back to where we were up to, and I'll catch up on the chat a bit. Here we are. That's where we were. Jill Monroe saying, yeah, Brexit's been a shambles. I think it's just, if I'm honest, I've kind of ignored it because I'm not looking for bad news at the minute. But it's certainly kind of, I think the stuff that we're seeing, all the negative stuff at the minute. We're not seeing a lot of. I think, and we mentioned this briefly in the Patreon chat tonight. I think the only positive stuff we've really seen come out of it at the minute has been the implementation of the COVID vaccines and stuff like that. Has been allowed to be done outside of like EU rules and stuff. But yeah, the other side of it, the financial side, the shipping stuff around, companies are not shipping abroad, companies are not shipping into the UK. It's a bit of a mess at the minute. Busey says, oh man, I'm interested in the Vortex shakers. Nip down and get it. I might do it in a bit, mate. VG says, the Vortex mixers are great. Love mine. I found with the flow improver I added, I put them in droppers combined with mixing the Vortex. I don't need to use a wet palette to thin my paints. Scrolling ahead a bit here. Busey said, I'm wondering if they're worth the cost. I think he said, well, yeah, they are quite expensive now, but I think he bought his when they were like 30 quid or something. And he said it's like a game changer. Absolutely game changer. So yeah, he said I'm not painting this week, so you can borrow it if you want. If you want to do like a review or something like that, but I think we'll see. I'm really worried that I love it, and then it's going to cost me like 90 quid for one or something stupid. Busey said it was one of the worth the cost. Yeah. Mike G says 5% tax in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's weird how that American tax stuff does. Marcus says America does not have consistent tax. We have 0.0825 to $1 tax in Texas, and Delaware has no sales tax. Wow. Tiberius says you can all stop screaming and panicking. I'm back from the co-op. Starting to worry about you, mate, to be fair. Chasey Brain Drain saying, yeah, taxes vary by state. Like taxes here low in Louisiana, but as you said, Cali and New York. I think I remember this because I was listening to a podcast. Was it a podcast or something, or was it? It was something about somebody who'd moved from California to somewhere else, and they said they missed the weather, but they didn't miss the sales taxes. So I assumed they were high. And I've been to New York, and I know what the sales taxes are like there. Vigisin, yeah, Jasco fiasco isn't an ideal situation, but the amount of whining really is next level. Like I said again, mate, I think it's another one of those things where people just want something to complain about, and as soon as they start complaining and they get other people to jump on the kind of bandwagon with them, whether it's justified or not, it just becomes next level. I think it's purely this. It's kind of like lockdown sort of madness. I think they just want other people to rant about. RGC Model says, thank you for the shout, mate. Love the channel. Thank you very much. I should check yours out as well. Thank you. Tony says, chilled out building a TT combat kit today. It was a nice chill out. That's what it's all about, mate, isn't it? Putting your feet up for a bit. Peter Cooman says, we have a saying, a tradesman that has time tomorrow is not one you want messing in your home. I quite like that, mate. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if they can come straight away, that means they're not busy. Barry says, carpet crawlers. You've got to get in to get out. Cat Smith says, building aliens and marines this evening, as you do. Format Minister says you should install a board game shelf to that door to make it a secret room. I had considered doing something like that, but to be fair, every part of that room needs to be kind of very, very purposeful, that's for sure. Fast Panda Gaming says, dedicated gaming room studios are a glorious thing. Yeah, I mean, I've got this is a spare bedroom in my house, and it served me well in, like, I mean, how long we lived here? I think we've lived here 4 years in June. I think I've been doing the channel 5 years in November. It served me really well to get me where I am now. But I think if I want to step it up a notch now, and now this is my full-time job and this is what I do, I think to step it to the next level, I'm running out of space. I'm a bit cramped, and I'd considered renting a space to be able to because actually when I thought about how much it was going to cost me to to convert my garage over and stuff like that, it wasn't going to be cheap basically. And I was thinking of renting a space because I was thinking, well, then I'm paying out X amount of pounds every month to rent somewhere, and I'll never get that money back. But it's still cheaper in the short term than it is going to cost me to kind of kit out the garage, if you like. But actually, the Patreons have been really generous this last year. I've not taken any wages. I've not taken any money out of the channel. Every single penny I've earned for the last, probably for the last 2 years, I've just been putting to one side and saving it up in case I have a month where all my Patreons fall out with me and all quit and whatever. So I've been building that money up in the background, and it was like, what are you keeping that money for? Like, you should invest back into the business now. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So I am spending quite a big chunk of money, but it's because I need to buy cameras. I need to buy I've bought like even things like HDMI cables mount up. Like the price of wood, for example, the price of paint. I couldn't believe it was like £35 for a 5 litre tub of paint at the weekend when I went to get that. Like all these things mount up, and you'll see when I kind of show you on a studio tour when I get a bit closer. It's investing back into the business so that hopefully it takes it to the next level, and I get more views and I get more Patreons, and it grows the business that way really. But yeah, I've never really had like a dedicated gaming space before. I've always managed to try and cram into here a little bit. Yoakum, good evening, mate. He says, survived another driving practice with his son. You deserve a drink for that one, mate. Andy Smith, hello, fella. Peter says, whereabouts on the list is Dreadfleet? It's on the top right, that's why we can't see it. My Dreadfleet ships are not even painted, mate, to be fair. Lord Maiden says, I know what you mean. It was a change speaking to people you can see without a screen, but it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, other than I went to my brother and sister-in-law's on Saturday for a few drinks in the garden. Other than that, really, I can't remember the last time I've really spoken face to face to people. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Jill says, I've only spoken to my postman since Christmas. The joys of living alone. I tell you what, Jill, I was in the garage the other day. I had the garage door open. I had my music playing and stuff. I was kind of doing some painting, and a guy came to deliver a parcel. My wife had ordered some clothes or something like that, and the guy came to deliver the parcel, and I could just tell he was like dying for a conversation, because he started like, yeah, looks like you're busy, son. What are you doing, kind of thing, and it was a case of like, yeah, I could just tell the guy wanted to talk to somebody. Like, he must have been. He was a taxi driver who was obviously doing deliveries, because taxis are pretty much just like not needed at the moment. And I must have just kind of rambled to him for 5 minutes outside, and you could just tell some people are really kind of missing interaction. I'm one of them, to be fair, but yeah, it was interesting to see other folks. I guess some people are still going into work every day, and I don't mean this kind of like negatively or anything, but I guess they've probably seen a slightly different side to folks who had to work from home, and people who've been shielding and never left their homes and stuff like that. Andy says, glad there's no 40k. There's no plans for it at the minute, mate, that's for sure. Christian, share the link for the Patreon there. Thank you very much. We've had a few new Patreons actually in this last week as well. You can see on the screen there, Billy Mark joined our Patreon this week, and John as well. I don't know what John's surname is. It just says John on the Patreon as well. John joined, and you can also see as well that Anna from Red Rose Wargaming there upped her pledge today as well. So yeah, one of the benefits of the Patreon is from $2 a month you get access to the Patreon Discord group, as Christian is saying it there, and it is essentially just like this live chat basically, like, but for 24/7, because there's so many people in the Patreon from all over the world. There's generally somebody awake at any given time. So it's a really, really friendly hangout place. We kind of set the Discord up into different groups. So there's the kind of like the hangout lounge, where pretty much anything goes. It doesn't matter what you're chatting about. It can be something you've seen on TV, a movie you think you're looking forward to. Kind of just, it's where we all kind of say good morning to each other and kind of hang out and have a chat. And then there's specific groups for different games. So if you want to ask questions about games or painting stuff, or advice, there's like a miniature painting channel. There's kind of like there's a Pixie Lot appreciation group, which is essentially just where we post like all the memes and the silly videos and stuff like that as well. It's just a really good bunch of fun folks. And yeah, I look forward to kind of looking through that. I've been a little bit absent the last couple of days because I've literally been sort of working head down arse up a little bit. But yeah, it's an awesome place just to hang out with like-minded people. Peter says, played some of the new Necrons against my friends, Space Marines, and a bit of Garden Hammer. Can't beat it, mate. And say, anyone going to the UK Games Expo this year if it goes ahead? Yes, 100%, mate. I have booked my hotel. I'm planning I'm planning to go on 100%, mate. Fingers crossed, everything goes to plan and it gets to go ahead. Type says, this is an illegal gathering. Where are we up to here? Fast Panda, another Shazvasti done to face his Ariadna. To face Andy's Ariadna, I should say. Lord Maiden says, it's 6 people from other houses or people from 2 households, whichever is greater. Just like meeting outside now, yeah. And that's what I think. So technically, you could play a game against somebody else. Yeah, I used the wrong word. It's not a bubble. It's a group of 6 indoors like we can in gardens at the moment. Yeah, but the group doesn't have to be from the same household. Phil Wilkinson, good evening, mate. Bonjour, he says. Jill says, picked up one of the Malifaux faction books to start diving back in for 3rd edition. Those faction books are fantastic. I love them. Jill says, Scotland is behind on lockdown easing by a few weeks. It feels like you guys are speeding it up a little bit, trying to catch up a bit. It wouldn't surprise me if we all end up in the same place at the same time, to be honest. Vijay says, Bondic is a UV curing resin that comes in a pen with a light on the other end. Fantastic for gap filling. Never heard of it, mate. Fast Panda says, yeah, filming outside is not ideal, but it's so good to play again. Yeah, the weather here, I mean, it's been, to be fair, touch wood, it's been great lately, but it's not the most predictable up here in the northeast. Derek says, I have 5 wargaming mates in my garden today. No game, just talking. Derek, I'm jealous, mate. I haven't just geeked out and talked random wargaming face to face with somebody in such a long time. Bliss says, no sales tax here in Oregon either. That's the way to do it. Lazy Bum, nice to see you. He says, is it you in the BlackJack Legacy logo? It is me. So, as you can see, let me get on the t-shirt here. That is the side of my face. So I did design the logo myself. It's not just some like random thing. That is actually my side profile. One day I'll show you the photograph that I took. Actually, it might be easier to show you on my phone. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see it there. So let me go to here. So if I've got any apps on here I don't want you to see, no, it's okay. So yeah, that is me. That is my profile. It's a bit of a pixelated picture on my phone there, to be fair. But yes, and that's not a huge chin. I did have a beard as well at the time. So yes, that is me. That is me on the logo. Let's have a look. Where else are we up to here? Jill saying, went with my old faction Guild, which was a tough choice. So nice one. I do like Guild. When I started to get back into 3rd edition, I started with Guild, and then I got all sidetracked with the shiny things of the of the Explorer Society. Cass says, I finished building something and binned the sprue with stuff still on it. My God. Christian sharing the link for the t-shirts there. Thank you very much. Lord Maiden, sorry, 2 steps. Marcus says, when will we see the BlackJack Bacon Club t-shirts? I must get to that, mate. I promise I'll get to it. I've literally, I'm behind on catching up with emails. I need to sort out some Patreon mugs and stuff. I'm just a little bit behind, mate. I've literally been ploughing every single sort of free. I'm not even free. I've literally just every hour of every day I've been plugging it to try and get this this studio thing done. So yes, as soon as I get some time, it's why you'll notice I've not managed to do any of the videos other than the streams. I've kind of committed to the streams. The other stuff is almost like I'm struggling to have space to film, if I'm perfectly honest. So yeah, but I will get to spending some time creating those Bacon Club stuff. Blizzard says, stares at the like count and wills it to rise. 32 likes, 71 viewers. Come on, folks, you can do better than that. Jess says, evening, folks. Evening, Andy. Late to the party. You're nice to see you, mate. I'm catching up with the chat now, so we'll get back to painting in a second. Adam Edgar, good morning, future boy. Nice to see you. Kath says the teenager loves her BlackJack hoodie. Oh, very, very kind of you. I'm glad you were happy with the products. Busey says about €40 here, mate, for 14 litres. I'll send some over. What were we talking about again? Something for €40 for 14 litres. I can't remember what. Oh, is this the Bondic stuff? Is that what we're talking about? Jill says speeding up right before our general election. Sure, there's no connection. I'm sure it's not a political thing. Is it? I always get the impression that there's always kind of like, I always find it funny. We're talking politics a little bit here, but I always find it funny how there's going to be like a national government announcement, and then the Scottish government kind of like gets in a little bit earlier and spoils the story a little bit. I find it funny. Fast Panda Gamer says, Andy, show us his phone. What is Grinder? Some mold line remover. I don't think I've got any. I don't think I've got anything too controversial here. I think what I showed you there was. Let's have a look, and I'll show you what I've showed you. So, I've got Kickstarter app. I've got Infinity Army, Warhammer 40k, Chronicles of Crime. Tekken is like sort of cameras I've got in the house, which basically lets me keep an eye on the little one. If he gets out of bed and wanders around the top of the stairs, it kind of sends me an alert. M3E is the Malifaux build. Sainsbury's, because my wife downloaded the Sainsbury's shopping app on the iPad and it ended up here. BBC Weather, and the IV Cam is an app to turn your phone into an external camera for your PC. So what else have I got on here? Anything else? Let's have a look. Yeah, there's nothing controversial here. Meerkat is the kind of what's it called? It's like when I bought my holiday insurance, I think it was, to go to Adepticon. In fact, I can delete that now. I don't have that insurance anymore. What we got? Citadel Colour. All recording my taxes. DPD. Among Us. I play with a little one. Nespresso for ordering coffee capsules. The Lachis, my local Indian takeaway. Yeah. My gym access to get into the gym. There's nothing controversial on my phone. I'm not ashamed of anything. Right, let's get back to painting because I'm catching up with the chat now a little bit. Tissy Brain Drain says, I've already done my part and I've liked. There you go, mate. The paint. Oh, sorry. I think it was because the paint, that was what it was. What I got mixed paint, so I didn't just buy one off the shelf, of course. I bought the same colour that you see behind me in the live streams. So I wanted to try and keep a consistent kind of theme across it. So the colour that's on the wall behind me in the Monday night live streams, I went and bought that same colour again. So that was why. Tiberius says, I wore my BlackJack Legacy hoodie to the co-op. Woman chased me past the square cream. Instantly makes you more attractive, mate. That's what it is. Ghost Winter says, M3 is the only app you need in your phone. That's all that counts. You're not wrong, mate. Adam Edgar says, my youngest bloke's 6th birthday today. Dancing Tiny Diamond and Pop Vinyl Flash are a big hit. Nice one, mate. Happy birthday, Small Edgar. Right. Let's get on with painting again. That's what we're here for, isn't it? Kind of forgot what we'd come to do. Decided just to chat about what apps were on my phone. Right, we'll get this orange strap on his wrist as well. Put a bit of colour into the model. We're going to highlight it up to a brighter orange eventually, but this is just the base colour for it, really. So that's that bit. Now what was I going to do? I was going to dry brush a bit of gold, wasn't I, onto that. Jez says, good news in this TV job I'm on at the moment. That test week turned into my doing this second week. Got asked if I want to do it till the end of the month, maybe a month more if the budget stretches. Nice one, mate. Can you share? Are you allowed to share what TV it is? Chair stuck in the carpet a bit. Right, let's go with, what gold should we go with? I do like a bit of Balthazar gold, I'll be honest, and we might go with a bit of Retributor armor over the top of it. Spider-Lord says, oh, sorry, Edgar says Malachi. It's called Elachi, actually, mate. Elachi. Spider-Lord says, is that Drowned Earth? It is Drowned Earth, mate. Bit of a last-minute decision to paint something. What was that one? Peter Cummins says, good night. See you later, mate. Paul Eamon says, you were very keen to show us you had nothing embarrassing on your phone. What are you hiding? The lady doth protest too much. No. I'm too long in the tooth, mate, for embarrassing stuff on my phone. Too long in the tooth for that stuff. Tony says, been painting his blooming Nightmare of a Space Marine. How on earth did you get sucked into painting a Space Marine challenge, mate? Fast Panda Gaming says, catch you later. Got a 5 AM start. Thank you very much, mate. Nice to see you in. Jess says, who's the elephant? Malachi. Is that? Oh, is that? I thought he was Malachi. Is that what he's called? I've got no idea, mate. James saying he keeps his awkward stuff on his burner phone. You're not wrong, mate. Jill says he keeps all the really embarrassing stuff on his iPad. I tell you what, I don't have any embarrassing stuff. I should start with that one, but no, my wife uses the iPad, to be fair. But I use the iPad as a I never really use the iPad, to be fair, but I do use it as a teleprompt when I'm doing some certain videos. So obviously I just connected it to my account so that so I don't have to pay twice for the app, basically. However, my wife pretty much uses the iPad all the time, so I end up with loads of stuff that kind of like that downloads from onto the iPad and ends up on my phone as well, which is why I've got like BBC Weather app and Sainsbury's food shopping. Right, that's a nice bit of gold on there, and I think what we'll do is we'll come in and come over that with a slightly brighter gold as well. Breathing through gritted teeth. I wasn't sure there was going to be anything on there that I wouldn't want to show, but I mean, I know there's not, but I don't know what. Look, I'm pretty sure there's nothing in here I would ever want to. There's nothing I'll be ever embarrassed about. That's for sure. No, MyFitnessPal never gets used. Costa Coffee, Amazon Music, Prime, Kindle, my taxes, my receipts. Loads of pubs. What do you call them? You know, like the apps for ordering when you had to start going to the pub and ordering through apps. Tony said it was my friendly looking gaming store, and I foolishly said yes to support them. I'm regretting it. Nice one. Just saying, no, they make you sign stuff, but it's for Lucasfilm, well, Disney, as they own everything, so it's really cool. Nice one, mate. I'm really excited, mate, to hear and see what you've been working on. Sounds awesome, mate. So generally, do they get in touch with you, or have you just built up a bit of a reputation, like as the go-to guy for TV and film stuff, or do you? I was going to say, do you have an agent, or do you have maybe an agency who kind of sort all that type of stuff for you? I've got no idea how that works, really. Right, it's a nice little bit of a shinier gold on top of that one. Jill says you're getting flustered, mate. Busey says the two worst apps on my phone are Burger King and McDonald's. I must admit I don't have them on there. I do have Just Eat, which gets used quite frequently, to be fair. And the gym access, which doesn't get used quite so often. I've not been back to the gym actually since they opened, because I've literally I've not had the time. I've been grafting away too much. Scott Longwood says, I'm back, got sidetracked. How dare you? Busey says, you need them for the deals. I never go there, mate. I never go to McDonald's or Burger King, to be fair. I'm not a huge fan of their work. Right, I'm deciding what colour to kind of do the guns and stuff. I'm not sure exactly what they're meant to be made of, because these look like kind of like bamboo type canes down the side. I still don't know what colour to come into here. What kind of works? Do I go with a bit of purple to go with the orange? What works with the orange? I've got to go blue, haven't I? Got to go blue and orange, like kind of like sci-fi-esque. I think what we'll do is we'll go with the Temple Guard blue. I do like that as a nice. That'll work together well. Yeah, like that one. Tony says, my other half mourns the contents of my phone are boring. I get told that to get my act together and have something risky for her to give me grief about. My apps are all like, they're all really like sort of like productive ones. Like it's all like the bank and like my taxes. I keep a track of everything I spend, obviously for tax purposes. So I kind of take a photograph of my receipts and upload them into an app and all that kind of stuff. So it's all like dull, boring stuff. And then there's loads of like camera equipment stuff. So for example, this camera I'm using now, there's like a companion app, so that basically you can use your phone or your iPad as like a second screen, so it kind of mirrors what's on the camera. Yeah, I can use it. So basically, what I do for these painting streams is I lock the focus of the face camera, and if I lean in and flick it to manual focus and stop it auto focusing, obviously it'll focus on me being really close to it. So I can do it from the app on my phone and stuff. So I have those kind of things like. And generally, other than the social media bits and pieces like Discord and Facebook and things, like YouTube, the studio app, it's all that kind of crap on my phone. Basically, I don't really have any games and stuff on them. I think I've got Among Us when I was playing that with the little one a little bit. He plays on my wife's iPad, and I play on my phone kind of thing, so we could play it together. But yeah, generally, I don't have time for playing games. I can't remember the last time I even played like sort of PlayStation or Xbox or anything. All that seems to have gone out the window. John says you've been very careful not to say QuickBooks. It's not called QuickBooks, mate. That's why. I don't know what it's called. It's called, let me have a look. It's called One Tap Tax. And there's a companion thing which is One Tap Receipts. It's not called QuickBooks. So there you can see pubs, taxes, Home Plus lights, so I can control the lights in my living room. The Smooth One slider, so that's my camera slider. Yeah. Amazon Music, Sonos, banking. Yeah, Skype, DPD. Nothing exciting, honestly. Nothing exciting. I'm always wary about showing stuff like that, because there was once I showed something on a live stream, and somebody about like 2 years later, it might even be somebody in the chat tonight, I can't remember who it was, said, by the way, you showed that thing on Amazon and it had like your postcode and your address and everything on it. I was like, shit. That was a rookie mistake from years ago. Thankfully, nobody watches that video, so nobody ever saw it. But yeah, it had my full name and address and postcode on it. So I didn't know how to edit it out, so I just put the video to private, so that video doesn't even exist anymore now. Blizzard says the spiciest thing I get on my phone is Pokemon Go. Yeah, I tend to try not to fill my phone up with that kind of stuff. Jesse's name gets passed about a bit. When you get a foot in the door and you're okay and reliable, you tend to get work. Still surprised me. I get total imposter syndrome. I can imagine, mate. I mean, on a very different level, mate. You're obviously working with Disney and Lucasfilm and stuff and companies like that. Mine's just like, if somebody contacts me and says like, oh, like really love your channel, would love you to have a look at our game kind of thing and stuff like that, I get a bit like, oh god. Like there's a company contacted me about doing a review video of one of their products, and I said, look, like it's not really a product that like I kind of want to review. Really, it's not something that like I've already, it was an airbrush thing, to be fair, like a battery operated airbrush, and I said like I've already kind of reviewed that. Really, like your product isn't that different from what I've already reviewed, I'll be kind of repeating stuff. And to be honest, I don't need another airbrush. Like, so thank you for contacting, but no thank you kind of thing. So then what they said was, actually, would you consider making us a promotional video so that we can use it? Like, it's not for your YouTube channel. It's basically you make us a video and we can use it on our own advertising stuff. Like, how much would you charge us? And that was when I got kind of like imposter syndrome, as in like, oh, like how much would I charge? I've never had to do like paid work before. How much would I charge? So I obviously came up with a price and thought they're just going to laugh at me here. And I was like, oh, yeah, fine, no problems. When can you do it? So the package actually arrived today, funnily enough. I drew a contract and the package arrived today, so I need to make a start on that at some point soon. So actually getting some paid like video work, which like to kind of supplements what I'm doing here. It was like, yeah, I had total imposter syndrome on that. Like, my God, like, and I'm thinking they contacted me. They've seen my videos. They know what I can do. Like, why am I even worried about it? But yeah, it's a funny one. Adam saying, I wonder how long they'll support Sonos S1. I keep expecting that one day I'll come home and not be able to use them. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I think is I can't remember what Sonos's we've got now, but have we got Wave 3s? I think we've got. But yeah, I must admit, I haven't used them in forever because the little bridge thing that they come with is not even plugged into my router at the minute. I must sort that out. James is saying, is this the Speedo again, mate? No, not the Speedo. It's for a private collection. Lazy Bum says, sound like knowing the typical industry rates would be nice. No idea where to get a kind of info. Do you know what it is, mate? It's the kind of thing that nobody wants to tell you, really. It's really difficult. So, like, for example, the person who contacted me, and I'm not giving anything away here, but essentially they want basically they want a 2-minute promotional video. So then part of me was saying, well, it's a 2-minute video, like, who's going to pay X number of pounds for a 2-minute video? But then then you have to think about, yeah, but it doesn't take me 2 minutes to make it. It's going to take me sort of like days and days to make it, kind of thing. So what's like a daily rate kind of thing? And try and work it out from that, basically. And because this is like the first piece of paid work I've done, you start to kind of like, well, like, so what's a fair rate? But yeah, as it happens, I've probably gone too cheap. They accepted my first offer, so I've probably gone too cheap. But at least now I know I haven't kind of like scared anybody off. I've probably underpriced myself. So you live and learn from it, basically, don't you? But yeah, it's like I say, the person obviously saw my other videos and knows what I'm capable of doing, and is happy to kind of pay me for it. But it's definitely that kind of that imposter syndrome of like, oh God. But yeah, it's not for the YouTube channel. I'll share it, I suppose, once I've done it. But yeah, it's not for the channel. It's purely for a third party who want me to basically do some video work for them, which is a nice little additional sideline thing. If I can use this as a bit of a kind of promotional material for myself as well. Right. Right, I want to use that gold as well. Actually, no, I'm going to use a bit of silver, I think, on a buckle on his belt. Derek Hodge says, industry rates or whatever you can get. Yeah, that's exactly it, mate, isn't it? I mean, this is a whole new world to me, really, when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's, I guess you basically you live and learn. You set your rates, and people will tell you it's too expensive, I suppose. Tasty Brain Drain says, that's pretty cool. Now you need to see about doing bacon reviews. Now, bacon reviews I'd probably do for free. Derek says, yeah, whatever you can get. Jess says, it's mad, isn't it? I keep expecting the man to tell me off working with folks like the Avengers and Fury Road and wondering quite what's going on. I can imagine when it's like something like that as well. What's that? Jill, I've just saw your name pop up on my phone. We'll hang on because I'm pretty sure it'll pop up on the screen as well. Jess says it's mad, yeah. Smean says, what's the brand of that round edge base you use? I think they're the same kind. To be honest, mate, these are the ones that just come with the Drowned Earth miniatures. I think they just call it a round lipped base. Malifaux come with the same ones as well. There we go, Jill. Thank you very much for joining the Patreon. Very, very kind of you, and thank you for your support. Jess says, good man. You're a respected voice in the trade, dude. I just think it's... I mean, it'll be nice to kind of like to build up a bit of a reputation over time. And I do think like when I come to do like proper video work, I think some of the stuff I do, I'm happy with the quality, and I think it's a cut above some other channels. And I mean that in a nice way, as in like it's something that's important to me, and it's not about just getting the video done quick. For me, I get a lot of pleasure from actually sort of trying to do something and sort of getting the lighting right, and you know, like lighting the shot correctly and color correcting it and all that kind of stuff. Learning about the videography side of things. So yeah, it's nice to kind of to be contacted like that, but yeah, I think it'll take a while before I get used to it. Jason says, I love that miniature. Is it from a game? Yes, mate, it is from the Drowned Earth. So yeah, it definitely is a game. James says, meeting with a minister and being introduced as an expert sent a chill down my spine. You know that in 30 seconds time you're getting thrown under a bus, aren't you, mate, at some point when that kind of thing happens. Right. What colour's bamboo? In my head it should be kind of like a yellowy greeny colour, shouldn't it? There's a question I never thought I'd ask this evening. What colour's bamboo? Right, let's start with the Ulthwan Grey on the tusks, just to lighten them up, and then obviously they should be more ivory and stuff. But Tony says, if the underpricing and not knowing what to charge is imposter syndrome, that's why I never paint commissions. I don't consider myself worthy to prefer to paint what I like. Yeah, I think it's... Oh, these are a bloody good mix. It's just not having a clue, mate, to even know where to start. Like, at least now I've got a starting point. I've kind of struck one deal and they accepted it on the first offer. So now at least I know next time I need to go a little bit high and try and negotiate on it. They probably couldn't say yes quick enough. Tiberius says, we used to call the DS bases for some reason. Will work for bacon. I might get myself a t-shirt with that on will work for bacon. Jill says, no worries, mate. Really just want to chat to this lot on Discord. That's all that. You're just paying for the privilege. That's what it is. John says, my review would be, yep, that's bacon. Of course it's good. Love finding that Greg's Outlet Shop. Greg's Outlet Shop, I didn't even know that was a thing that existed, mate. That's kind of blown my mind. That was why my first question was, where was that? Kath says, I don't have imposter syndrome. I have how the hell did I end up here syndrome. Plotting my escape. Oh, I tell you what. I've been there as well. But yeah, it's like, I think the one thing for me is that the growth of my channel, whilst it's, well, you know, it still blows me away kind of thing, it's been kind of slow and steady really, because the kind of stuff I cover is not really kind of mainstream, if you like. It's a bit more obscure at times, and obviously I'm more of a streamer really as well when it comes to this type of stuff. So there is an element of like I don't necessarily get like imposter syndrome doing my YouTube stuff, but if overnight I'd gone to like kind of like 100,000 subscribers kind of thing, I think I'd feel the pressure on it. But luckily for me, my channel has grown at a rate where I think I've improved over that time as well. And the subscriber numbers kind of mean less to me now. I always wanted to get to 10,000. So when I hit that was like, oh, kind of happy now then. Anything after that's a bonus really. and I want to have like for me, having a sustainable Patreon and a really awesome kind of community group is more important, really. The views and the subscribers are much secondary. As long as I can kind of continue to fund this in the way I do, that's me happy, really. Like if I suddenly got 100,000 subscribers today, it doesn't change anything, really. I don't suddenly start making money from it. Let's have a look. Dried bamboo. Maybe Zandri dust. Yeah, maybe. I'm kind of wondering what to do to kind of blend it so it doesn't just kind of like fade in a little bit, really. Right, that lightens those up a little bit. Let's come in and do his toenails. I'm sure elephant's toenails have got a more technical name, but they are screaming out to make you want to paint them red. Right. As you can see, I'm really taking my time here. That was sarcasm for those that didn't get that bit. Christian saying, not sure what's going on and nothing can be done tonight, but Google moderators are removing all the links I'm sharing except Teespring and Patreon. Interesting, mate. Ah. Do you know what, mate? Let me check, because I had to turn something on a little while ago. Was it fine on Monday? Or did you not share anything on Monday, mate? Because I had to turn something on because I was getting loads of spam comments. People sharing like kind of some untoward links, basically in messages after a video had gone live. And the way I had to stop it was it was fine on Monday. Yeah, it's not that in that case, mate. I thought it was something else, but yeah. Where are we up to? Zandri with the green wash, James is saying. Tyree saying bamboo, start green on grey and then build up the carties to cream. And he's saying the Discord is excellent. Yeah, I like it as well, mate. Jess says, got to dive back up to the northeast and back this weekend. Going to grab some paint and minis and bring them down. Going to paint the minis from Aliens, another glorious day in the coast. Nice, mate. Nice to get a little bit of hobby travelling going on. John saying, yeah, at least it's the other side of the river for me. I wonder what it is, Christian, then. It's definitely nothing I've done, then. No, Lazy Bum there saying, I doubt it's the moderators. Christian is the moderator on this channel, which is why he can share the links and other people generally can't. But yeah, it must be something in Google's side of things. But it's weird if it worked on Monday and I've not touched anything since Monday, and now it's I wonder if I don't even know what link to share to test it. Go yellow if you want the bamboo to pop. Share it with a grey. Yeah, I keep seeing like retracted message. Oh yeah, message deleted by the Google moderator team. I wonder what that is then, mate. I'll Google it after the chat tonight. But thank you for trying, mate. Anyway, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go? This is a weird kind of gun because it looks. I'm assuming that should be metal, really. Let's go with the steel hands, or the iron hands steel, I should say. To be honest, mate, when I saw the kind of like the italics writing, I thought you were basically redacting the messages yourself. I thought you were taking them off, but it was weeks ago that I made any changes. So if it was working on Monday, it's definitely not that. Ghost Winter says, I'm popping in Newcastle on Sunday. Any recommendation on shops that sell minis other than GW? There's none, mate. There's none in Newcastle. Your best bet is probably try Travelling Man. Will sell a few bits and pieces. They sell a lot of board games. And they sell a few bits and pieces. I think they tend to do like X-Wing stuff, a bit of Legion. I don't think they do much else, though, to be fair. But yeah, Newcastle, mate, for a big city and for being a university town and stuff, there is very, very little in the way of hobby stuff. I remember buying War Machine stuff from there years ago. But yeah, obviously that's, I assume it just doesn't sell well enough. Right, let's stick a bit of silver on that gun. And then we'll try and come in. What's that hanging off the side of that? We'll assume it's a bit of bamboo. It's got like a little tank, like a kind of barrel on there. I think I'll paint that barrel red. Lazy Bum says, interesting, did you make any Google enemies? Nah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I've never seen that before, mate. James says, wait, there's no hobby shops in Newcastle. We've got 4 in Poole and Bournemouth. There's none, mate, in the city centre. To be honest, there's not even many outside of the city centre. There's the odd, like from me, there's one in Sunderland, which is still mainly GW stuff, to be fair. Bit of Marvel Crisis Protocol, little bit of Mantic stuff, bit of Star Wars Legion, maybe some Warlord stuff. But I mean, they pale in comparison to the GW stuff. He's kind of starting to dabble in them kind of things. And then what else is there? There's, I think, Middlesbrough. To be honest, is probably the closest. I don't know what anything's like in Durham and stuff. Maybe if John's around, he might know stuff in Durham, like Newcastle, Durham Model Centre. But again, it's predominantly sort of, it's more models and things, really, like Airfix and that type of stuff. But they sell like a lot of hobby stuff, like supplies and paints, and I think they sell GW stuff. I don't know if they sell anything else. But yeah, it's really hard. It's one of the reasons why I use. Oops, it's one of the reasons why. It's one of the reasons why the Northeast is predominantly very much GW stuff, and it's one of the reasons why I use Goblin Gaming as an affiliate link. I'd much rather support a local hobby store. However, the only one near me is the one in Sunderland, and they don't do any online sales. So it's all right me kind of promoting them, or trying to like strike a deal to try and promote them or get sponsorship or something from them, but I can't help them. All I do is tell people about a shop they can't buy anything from. So it doesn't make any sense. So that's why I use those kind of stuff. Tiberius says the gun looks like a water-cooled 30 cal idea, so casing could be metal, blacked or painted green. Yeah, I think we'll go with the metal, mate, and I'll probably put like a non-oil wash over it and kind of pick it out. It does look like the little tank could be kind of water-cooled. So, yeah, looks pretty cool regardless. We'll put a bit of a wash into there anyway and sort of mix it up a bit. Busey saying it's Google trying to stop advertising, maybe. I don't think so. I mean, Teespring's different because they link to Teespring, so you should be able to see under my videos I have a Teespring account type thing. It's weird that they don't stop Patreon as well, and if that was the case, though. Tony says we have no hobby shops in the retirement town of Hornsey. Lots of charity shops and chippies, though. Yeah, hobby shops. Like I say, it's one of those things where I would love to open a hobby shop here, but there's got to be a reason why there is none dotted about. Let's see what we'd do. Did we decide what colour for bamboo? We did, didn't we? I can't remember now. I think we'll go with like a Zandri dust, and we might put a bit of a greeny wash on it. Tony Booth Leiden, good evening, mate. He says, put my brushes away for tonight. Done all the rats and bats. They were bat dude and started on 2 heroes for Curse City. I'm on a roll. Nice one, mate. Glad to see some progress being made on Curse City stuff. They're beautiful models, mate. They're well worth getting them painted up. John says I should be cooking, but this is far more rewarding. Nice one. An air-cooled M19 1930 cal no water jacket. Yeah, right, we'll try this, and I think we'll pop a bit of a wash over the top of it to kind of greeny it up a little bit. Is that along the bottom? I don't think is metal. I think that's a bamboo thing along there, I think. So we'll paint that. I thought it was part of the gun, but apparently not. We might have to change the colour of the ropes that I've already painted there, I think, just to contrast a little bit. Maybe go much darker with those. It's quite nice just to paint a model for no apparent reason. Like, I mean that in the nicest possible way. I mean like it's not like it's screaming out that like it needs doing today kind of thing. But it's just a case of just painting for painting's sake, really. My cat says it's time to take a break. Tasty Brain Drain says, no offence to Andy, but as much as I love these streams, I find cooking to be more rewarding. I can't stand cooking, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't get any pleasure at all from cooking. I know lots of people do. In the same way, I'm sure there's loads of people saying I don't get any pleasure from hobby or anything like that. But yeah, cooking to me is a means to an end, really. I don't enjoy it at all. Like I can appreciate a really nice meal, and I do like sort of like my wife's a fantastic cook, and I do like going to like a restaurant and enjoying like a nice meal and stuff. But the actual act of cooking myself is just, for me, it's just making food. I think it's probably more to do with it when I used to live on my own and stuff. I just hated it. Like I hated cooking. It was just a case of like I just wanted to make something that was fast, so that act of cooking was over and done with, kind of thing. I hated the idea of spending ages cooking a meal that I'd spend a lot less time sitting eating. So yeah, I appreciate the food, but not the act of cooking. Where are we up to? Paul says hobby stores is a hard market to crack now, dominated by big players. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. I think it's one of those things now where, like, if you're going to sell anything, you instantly have to sell it at a 20% discount because everybody else does in the UK. I know America's different and stuff, but yeah, in the UK everybody gives like 20% discount or 15% discount. So unless you're going to at least match them, what have you got to offer, basically? John says not locked up much, but that is an angry Elmer. It is a bit, mate. John says he was super productive yesterday, so I can slack for a bit longer. VG says he enjoys cooking as well. Jess says I only GW travelling man in the centre for minis outside the city centre. Graham's workshop and Blythe Models. Oh yeah, but has Blythe Models got a shop? I know he never used to. I don't know if he's got a shop now. He says they're out a fair bit in a pain to get to. They're also the kind of places where you have to make a special trip. It's not like if you go to like a big shopping centre or anything, like a big sort of like town centre or anything. It's not like, oh, I'll go while I'm there. Like Sunderland City Centre's got nothing. Like all of the surrounding, like big areas have nothing really. Jez Hunt says, cooking is boring. I like eating mine. That's exactly where I am, kind of thing, mate. Lazy Bum says, I cook with a microwave and frozen pizzas in the oven, sometimes a blender. I think we're on the same wavelength here. Spylaws, if it takes longer for me to make it than it does to eat it, it's inefficient. That is exactly my kind of like my wavelength. I just don't find it fun, and I can totally appreciate like the love and attention that goes into somebody cooking a really nice meal. Like I really appreciate when my wife cooks like a nice meal for us. It is totally appreciated, but in the same way, I can totally appreciate like a beautiful painted model, but I would never want to spend that amount of time on it myself, kind of thing. It's horses for courses. I'm glad other people enjoy it, because then I get to reap the benefits of their hard work by having a lovely meal. Tony said we had a hobby shop in Hornsey some years ago. It was very popular. It was primarily model rail, but it tried to help the kids in town. It's a mystery why they're closed. Do you know what? I see shops like that closing when it's like an old retired bloke or something like that who loves his model trains and decides to open a shop to kind of pass the days away. It's like there's a bookshop not far from me, and I look at it and I think, I have no idea how that's still open. I have no idea that anybody ever goes and shops in it. Tony saying friendly local game stores can't afford town centre rents. No, they can't, but there's not even any like out of town. That's the problem. There's very, very few. Like, it's not like there's any on the outskirts of town that you can kind of visit. Like, if you think there's places like Travelling Man, like in the city centre, selling like that kind of stuff, but they sell like millions of board games, millions of comics, that type of stuff, but don't sell miniature games. They sell GW stuff, they sell GW paints, they sell GW games, they sell the brushes, they sell White Dwarf, everything else, but they don't have anything else. That's what I find weird. Tasty Brinches, always enjoyed cooking ever since I was a kid. Unfortunately, I don't do it as much as I'd like to, because while I love cooking, I'm also very lazy. Lord Mins, if I would cook, I would make cupcakes for other people I enjoy, but stopped as I couldn't give the cupcakes out. Yeah, there are certain things I don't mind. Like, I don't mind making a cake with my son. Like, if the two of us, like on a Saturday or something like that, like make a cake or something like that. It's not so much the cooking that I'm enjoying, it's the doing something with him. So it's not like I kind of sort of wouldn't want to do something like that. I just generally find it like time consuming, like cooking a meal kind of thing. I just find it a bit hard work mentally, I think. I'm also not very good at it either, so that doesn't help. Jill says, I got lazy over the years as far as cooking goes. I batch cook once or twice a month and freeze it all. Meals, less time on the plate. Yeah, I'm very much in that back. Blazes loves cooking, even went to school for it. And then I got the workplace. Now I'd rather nuke something from the freezer. Yeah, it's definitely the case, isn't it? Right, I'm going to put a little bit of wash onto some stuff now, just to darken some stuff up a little bit. That's gone quite heavy on there. We'll be taking some of that off there. Johnson, can't believe I found Northeast Model Centre before. It's near any supermarket and it's got so many paints. I tell you what, I've never been to that Northeast Model Centre, because when I used to live in Durham, it wasn't there. It was something else. I remember the building. It's an old church, I think, isn't it? I remember the building because I used to pass it on my way home every day. But I wish I still lived there now for that reason. Although not for the reason I used to live there. Exes and all that. So yeah, I've never been, but like I say, I know what building it's in, and I know how big a shop it is. So it's just a shame that there's not more of those places dotted about. The Northeast has always really suffered when it comes to kind of like those kind of hobby shops. Like I see like the Metro Centre is our kind of like sort of like big indoor sort of like shopping centre type thing, if you like. And I see some of the shops that open in there, and I think, how on earth do you make any money? Like, how do you keep open? Like, do you get cheap rent for a bit and then basically just cash in on that and then get out of there again? Or but then maybe I completely overestimate how popular gaming is. It's my job, so I always think it's probably bigger than it is. So maybe that's the case. Maybe we have to just understand that these days the big guys online do such a good job of holding the stock and getting the prices discount that it's just not worth it anymore. It's just not worth it for anybody to bother trying to challenge it. Paul says, even the big hobby stores like Element and Wayland don't have city town centre stores. Travelling Man's a comic store and they're really quite mainstream in what they sell. Yeah, I suppose they are quite mainstream. It's a shame they don't. I mean, by the sheer fact that they don't sell more stuff, would suggest that it doesn't justify its shelf space, which is why there's not more hobby stores, which in itself is quite a sad indictment, really. And I agree. Yeah, there's kind of city centre sort of pricing and stuff is obviously a bit of an issue. It's just a shame, really. But I guess people would, like, if you look around now for like any kind of hobby store, like photography type places, like other than like Jessup's, the main brand type thing, there's hardly any of those kind of like sort of camera shops anymore. Like if you want to buy fishing gear, you're not going to go to a city centre for it. I guess it's just an indictment of how the high street now is essentially just Starbucks, McDonald's. It's just big chains. It's made every city centre look exactly the same now. You go abroad on holiday, it looks exactly the same as it looks at home. All the mainstream shops are there basically. I think, and there's another thing is basically that's what online shopping's done. Whilst it is hugely convenient, it's just not even worth trying to open a bit of a niche type effort now. Hello Bruce, how are you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Let me just scroll back up there. Let's just jump off the top of my screen. I don't know, you all love me saying that. John said, oh yeah, we just had that one. James says, my local moved from a high street to a trading estate. Best thing they did. Loads of parking, bigger unit, loads of tables. Yeah, do you know what? Like, maybe I kind of misspoke when I said about this, like city centre places. The problem is that there are next to no places. Like it's not even like there's like places, but they're out of town. There's hardly anything. Put a bit more wash on this one as well. Ed saying Warhammer sells, X-Wing Armada and Legion sell, other stuff not so much. Yeah, I think that's the case as well, mate. I think you're probably very, very accurate in that. We'll just put I've started with a brown wash on this now. We might put a bit of green over that as well, just to kind of contrast it later. Yeah, I think that's generally the case, mate. I think it's the popular stuff sells. I'll tell you what, I would love to see some figures, sort of sales figures of how companies do versus like GW and stuff like that. I'm sure it's very. I'm sure if you just took like store sales, like the local kind of meta, if you like, is probably like one of the main drivers of that. So I'd love to see like the actual financials from the companies. See what they are actually selling. It says big seller that keeps them in business is card games though. I think most stores like that, mate. Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Yeah, there's quite a lot of them who. I think the problem with card games is like they take up quite a lot of. Well, sorry, how do I put this? They take up quite a lot of table space in a hobby store because they're popular. However, they don't take up a lot of physical space. Where if you get two guys playing 40k, that's a full 6x4 table. That's probably enough space for 6 card gamers. Bruce is saying, how is everybody? Oh, I'm good, thank you very much. Paul says, I love cooking. Lockdown's got good in that regard. Less work travel, more time to cook meals. Yeah. I've no problems with anybody else doing it. Or enjoying it, of course. It's just not my bag. Right, what's that on his shoulder? Oh, that I know what that is on his shoulder. That is a bone going through his shoulder. And I've kind of missed one side of it. John says, I'm excited because I got a new to my musical instrument today, a mandolin. Got my work cut out for me learning to play it. I assumed that you could play it, mate, when you said that. A mandolin. Interesting. Once you've cracked a couple of tunes, mate, we want a demo. Back on the shelf. Let me scroll up a little bit as well. How we doing for time? 10:30. Tybus is saying it's high ticket sales is how it's done. Yeah, I think the problem is when it comes to kind of to miniatures, there's not a lot of high ticket stuff. When I was certainly looking into it to open a store a long time ago, the issue was it was about volume. Basically, you needed to do a lot of online sales to basically justify stocking items, because like selling the odd thing at like, by the time you factor in paying, like discounting it by 10, 15, 20%, and then you factor in what your basically your running costs are and what margin you are, it is purely on volume of stuff, until you grow your volume to a point as well where then your costs come down a bit as well. VG says I do homemade pizza on Thursday, taco Tuesday, and on weekends I'm home, especially Asian dishes. I've an entire pantry shelf of Asian specialty ingredients. It's interesting because I happily do barbecue. Like I quite enjoy sort of barbecuing stuff. And we had homemade pizzas at the weekend when I was at my brother-in-law's. He's got like an outdoor pizza oven. And it was fantastic kind of doing that kind of stuff. But for me, there's almost like a social element to that. I find cooking in the kitchen is very you almost sort of is isolating, and doing isolating activities at the minute is the last thing I want to do. Right, kind of lost my way a little bit with this. You know, when you just start pushing paint around and you kind of forget what you're doing. I might actually I think I might call it there for painting wise. I think we'll leave that one because I'm at that point where I'm a bit lost what I'm doing. So I think what I'll do is we'll call that the painting for tonight. I'll put my brushes there to give them a wash out, and I will just come and catch up on the chat and talk to you lovely lot. Warwick says most things in my area are primarily comic shops that really do not have many comics compared to the sections and tournaments for card games. It's interesting though, like comics are such a popular thing. Because again, it's one of those things where you think they're quite cheap to kind of ship around, purely just on a weight basis and a size basis, and I'm surprised that's not dominated by online stuff. VG says, whoop. Just if I can find where it is, which would be happening less now. Gigs are coming back. Yeah, Lazy Bums. I remember looking to buy a 40k Dart Imperium box a couple of years ago. I could get online for 130 shipped or 160 plus tax locally. As much as I like to support locally, that's a big ask. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, mate. I do not disagree. I think it's a huge factor. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to support your local store, but not at any cost. That's the problem. Ghost Winter says, does Forbidden Planet not sell any minis or anything? I remember going in for the odd one in Newcastle a while ago, and I'm sure they had it downstairs with D&D stuff. They do have some D&D bits and pieces. They sell board games. They sell the Hatchet Partworks, GW, Mortal Realms magazine, and whatever the 40k one was called. They sell those magazines with the kind of sprues in them, the individual ones. But I'm pretty certain, 99% certain, they don't do any paints, they don't do any miniatures anymore. Rob says, what about existing brands opening retail shops and expanding? Yeah, I mean, I know where you're coming from, mate. I think that's a good sign, but I think that's more of a case of there's obviously other reasons behind that, and that's coming from already being successful in other areas. I mean, it's great for local hobbyists to have another like a local store to go to, but it's more a consequence of the fact that the big companies are getting bigger, basically. Christian saying, gotta go, time for bed. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, see you tomorrow for D&D, buddy. We'll not keep you up as late tomorrow, I promise. Derek says, Blackwell's Bookshop sells board games and some miniatures games, Star Wars games and Wizards of the Coast plastic figures. What's it called again? Wood. What's the big bookstores in the UK? I forget their name now. Waterstones, that's it. Waterstones have started to do a pretty good range of board games now as well, and I can see them branching a little bit, but they still don't do miniatures stuff. Busey said it's a shame because I wouldn't care about paying 20% more if I had a nice local store. If I had a local store that basically where I could play games and support them, then I'd probably make the effort. Like I've said before, my local store isn't close. It's over in Sunderland. I mean, it's not miles away, to be fair, but it costs me like, was it like £2 either way just to go through the Tyne Tunnel. So like I'm already £4 down before I've even gone there. You got to pay to use the tables regardless of whether you spend any money or not. And then they tend not to stock the games that I play, really. So for me, I wouldn't really be supporting them as a business. I'd be using the table kind of thing basically. And then at that point, it would need to be to meet other people who only go there, really, I suppose, like from as almost a gaming club type perspective. And I know the Mantic lads with John and a few others go there as well, so it'll be good to kind of go and see them again. But other than that one store, it's just nowhere. It's all gaming clubs around here. There's loads of kind of like gaming clubs to go and play games at. There's no stores. Jess says homogenous and gentrified city centres, and they wonder why the high street is dying. I tell you what, it's quite sad now. Where was I the other day? I went somewhere. I went to Durham to get my COVID jab. I went to Durham city centre, and it was surprising, obviously, how many shops are closed there and stuff. Like I've either shut down or haven't had a chance to reopen yet. But I was somewhere else. Where was it? And it was sad to see how many closed and shut down shop stores. I'm trying to remember where it was now. So I haven't really been anywhere, so where the hell was I? I don't remember now, but it was... No, I can't remember, but it was sad to see just how much was closed and how much had shut down. Johnson, there's at least 3 comic stores here in town: a Warhammer store, an independent store called Torchlight, several other stores. I tell you what, it's nice to have some choice, mate. That's for sure. Tiberius says Edinburgh Princess Street is a ghost town. It's a real shame, isn't it now? Where the hell was I? I've just been somewhere recently, and I said it was really sad to see. Oh, it was Tynemouth Front Street. I walked down Tynemouth Front Street to go and get a cup of coffee, and then to kind of like sit out on the beach, like on the coast, and have my cup of coffee and have a bit of a walk. And I walked down the front street, and I couldn't believe how many empty shops there were. And Tynemouth used to be like a really kind of like bustling kind of like front street with some really kind of quirky shops and things like that. It was sad. It was just a real shame. Kodos saying, getting late now. Good night. Thank you very much, Kodos. Ed says IVC2 is as good as you get on the score. Yeah, I do often see the big stuff in there. It's interesting though that Crisis Protocol is kind of eased out sort of X-Wing and stuff, because there was a point where X-Wing was the number one. D&D minis is I always find D&D minis is a weird one, like that it's in there, but I guess it comes from miniature stuff. But yeah, Legion's kind of done all right to keep in there. Crisis Protocol's obviously picking up. It's amazing that AOS has kind of dropped down below them, really, and that is quite interesting from a sales perspective. Restaurant kitchens are populated with wild animals. I know I was one. Busey says, too many cheapskates about, always trying to get the best deal, forgetting about quality of service. When you buy cheap something goes wrong, you have little comeback and no customer service. It's not always the case though, mate, is it? Because sometimes buying cheap can mean that you're buying from a big place. Like as an example, I've bought all of mine. I bought both of my 3D printers from Amazon, and I didn't pay over the odds. I paid the going rate for them, kind of thing. They didn't charge me anymore. They came next day delivery. I know if there was any issues with it, I could send it straight back. Would I have preferred to kind of support like a local hobby type shop with that kind of purchases? Of course I would. I would much prefer to give it, but I didn't. I bought it from Amazon because the service is first class, and I know if there's any problems with them, I can send them straight back. So like I'm as guilty as anybody for that kind of stuff. But there are no other options. Like I could buy it online from some shop I've never heard of, that I've got no idea what their customer service is like. I've got no idea what it's like trying to deal with if something goes wrong. Like I'm having to arrange shipping things back. They don't just send somebody to come and pick it up from me, kind of thing. So it's a mixed bag, isn't it, mate? Ed's off to bed now as well, night mate. John says the cheap pay twice, and all Russian saying it's sometimes the case, not always the case though. Jess says, I think most small gaming shops also sell on eBay to keep it ticking over. I think it's sometimes, I mean, like sort of smaller local places, it's hard to build your name up to becoming like an online store that people go to, really. Tiberius is saying you can either go all in on online sales or make sure you're at every gaming event like Salute. Bring your own lead claymore with sales tables. I do wonder how beneficial going to those events are, especially when you're just selling the same stuff everybody else sells. Spylos says Wayland opened another store and closed it after a year or two. They had to cover the overheads. There's other sides to opening more than one store. It gets you benefits. Like, for example, if you are a GW customer and you open 2 stores, you get twice the allocation of sort of stock. So when new things come out which have limited numbers, instead of getting 20 copies of Curse City, you'll get 40 copies of Curse City. Or instead of getting 600 or 800 copies of Indomitors, you get 1,600 copies. So there is a point, and the more you buy from GW, the cheaper you get it as well. So there is benefits to opening a second store, almost like sometimes the fact that the discount you get by having more stock going through it is like outweighs the cost of running the store type thing. So that it's a mixed bag really sometimes. Spylo says you make most of your profit on snacks and drinks. Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of them let themselves down. I think they think of themselves as a hobby store and actually forget about the hospitality side of things, actually, and like making it making it's like why a load of pubs do meals, because they make more money on the meals than they do on the beer half the time. John says I make a point of supporting my local stores, though I haven't bought anything since January. Limited funding. My issue is it's limited stock, mate. Limited products that they sell. Paul says Man City Centre was booming pre-lockdown. No idea what it's like now. However, the satellite towns like Oldham, where I live, have been dying since 2008. It's interesting because Newcastle is a busy city centre, but it's all the same stuff that you would get in any city centre. Like there's not many, if any, like boutique type places. Tyrese saying with that toothpick, I could have sworn I saw Jackie Daytona, regular human bartender. It's what I use for cleaning bits and pieces of stuff out and things and doing the eyeballs. John says I don't feel bad not being able to buy anything. I got enough to keep me hobbying for 2 lifetimes. I think a lot of us buy kits and models like people buy books thinking they're buying the time to read them. Yeah, I know what you mean. Pusey says, yeah, charge £5 for a hot dog that costs 20 pence. It's that kind of stuff. I mean, it's it doesn't cost much to get like pizzas, like you know, like sort of like pre-packed pizzas, like Sainsbury's do amazing pizzas like that are basically like where they make them in store and then you can cook them at home, like that kind of stuff doesn't cost a lot of money and it's easy to like get stuck. But the problem is most of these shops are run by maybe one person, and then you start to need to get like sort of food licenses and stuff like that, and like health and safety, what they call like food standards for selling like cooked food. And I think they just basically get scared off by all that kind of stuff, and they worry that they basically turn their business into a restaurant or a cafe and not a hobby store. But the problem is you do need to kind of divest, I think, and make some money elsewhere. So anyway, let me have this drink. I think we'll call that a night because I am flagging now, to be fair. So where did we get to? Let's have a quick look. Where did we get to? So this is let me get the light back on. This is where we got to. It's starting to look all right. Needs a little bit more work on it, but it's It's not too bad. I might get a bit of a silver dry brush over that gun and bring it back, and a little bit of greeny, I think, onto the bamboo stuff. But it's not a million miles away from done. I'll have to think about what to do with the rocks though, because I would normally do them kind of grey, but with the grey elephant skin, I'm not sure if that's going to work on that one. It might be a bit, but yes. So a couple of questions here. Spylo saying, yeah, it's true. Tea bag and water costs 5p, sell it for £1. That's a markup you never make on stock. 100%, mate. And the difference is people people have more than one generally, don't they? Lord Maiden said, I noticed in a pub that was trying something new before I closed, they had a Tesco cakes for £1 a slice, where you can walk down the road and buy the cake for like £3. Loads of places sell like what they call Costco stuff, Costco donuts and stuff like that. Sort of, it's because once you've got a captive audience, like if you buy Mars bars and sell them, kind of thing, which people buy, but if you sell a Mars bar for £1.50, people go, he's taking the piss there, like, you know, Mars bars are 60p or whatever it is. But if you sell a donut for like £1.50 and you've paid 25p for them, people don't instantly know the price of a donut, kind of thing. That's where you can make serious kind of markup on that kind of stuff. Bren B saying there's some quality wargaming companies in the northeast: Pendragon, Border Reaver, Gateshead Gaming. Shame they don't have games tables as far as I know. Yeah, I think they're just kind of sort of man in the shed type places, mate, to be fair. Ghost Printer says, might be a daft question, but are miniatures sold in GW store at a higher price, for example the Newcastle one, than say somewhere like Wayland or Goblin Games? Yes, they are, mate. So miniatures sold in a GW store will be sold at recommended retail price. If you buy from Wayland or Goblin Gaming, they generally discount them by 15-20%. Not all gaming stores are the same. Some gaming stores have a website price, so if you're buying online, which is discounted, and then if you're buying in store, sometimes you pay full price for them, because generally if you're buying in store, it's more of an impulse purchase type thing, and you think, oh well, I might as well just pay full price, because by the time I pay for shipping and all this kind of stuff. So some stores charge more in store than they do on their website, but I think that's happening less and less these days. But generally, yeah, Games Workshop don't discount their miniatures, but yeah, Goblin Gaming, Wayland Games, Element Games, Mighty Lancer Games, any of the game stores that you can buy from online generally are discounted. Tiberius says, when it comes to concession stands, the cost of the item is mostly the cost of the power to keep the place lit and ovens on, and you're standing there X long since the last customer. You're not wrong, mate. Jeff says, thanks for streaming. You are welcome, my friend. Marcus is saying, the only thing game store I go stop selling is microwave popcorn. Too many people burnt it, and burning popcorn is a terrible smell. Jess says, cheers, Andy. You back building the gaming room in the morning, fella? I've got the morning off, mate. I'm getting the carpet fitted tomorrow. So my only job tomorrow is to get up and make sure the carpet fitters do a good job, basically. And then in the afternoon, I've got the door to fit, and then I can start sort of putting things back together after that. So yeah, not far to go, mate. Now, Busey saying, yeah, black market pizzas out the back. Where did you get that from? Don't know, mate. Tizzy Brindle saying, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Does anyone know how much the Soul by Blood Knight box is going to cost? Let me have a look for you, mate, and I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can find out. I see GW are not. They're not doing weekly releases now for a while, are they? Let me have a little look and see if I can see if it's coming out this week. It's been a while since I've looked on this site to find the prices. Look on here, and then go to here. Go here. I appreciate this is not really good radio, but where are we at? Orders, price list. I don't know if it's. I'm not sure if they're on the list this week. What was it you were asking for again, mate? Blood Knights, wasn't it? You know, a Soul Blight Blood Knight box. Is it called It's not the Celestial Stampede, is it? Is that the one? Oh, they don't have a date. It's not up for pre-order. Yeah, that'll be why then, mate. Yeah, it's just the, what do you call it, the stuff that's on here is Broken Realms, Soromon Choir, Celestial Stampede, Dragons Ether Runners, Blazing Cavalcade. Yeah, none of those ones, is it? RJC says, I live not round the corner from Waylaid and worked there for some time. It's a great store and a great price. I had loads of issues with them many years ago, but I must admit I've not had any problems in the recent day, to be fair. Justin Elby says, I'm going off the Slanesh Cavalry. I'm not really, I must admit, like, I'm a bit out of touch this last week, but doing the work in the garage and stuff, I've not really spent any time on social media. So I'm kind of a little bit lost with what the latest stuff that's going on. But yeah, hopefully I'll get back to normal next week. Anyway, as I said about 5 or 10 minutes ago, it's time to call it a night. Thank you very much, Jill, for joining the Patreon tonight, if you're still around. And thank you to everybody that's viewed tonight. Don't forget to give the video a like if you haven't already liked it. If you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I've got loads more stuff coming up soon. And yeah, what I should do probably tomorrow, if not the day after, I'll do a bit of an update video about what's happening with this studio and stuff, because the way it's looked up until now is it looked like a building site, where tomorrow it's going to look more like a finished room, and then we'll start to see it coming together, and I can show you what I've been talking about. So yes, thank you very much, everyone. I will see you on, well, I might see you in the video if I do one this week, but I'll definitely see you on Monday's live stream. So take care, folks, and speak soon. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.